Hello students. In this session, let us derive an expression for internal field or Lorentz field. So to start with, let us consider a dielectric placed in an electric field E. We know that the electric field produces dipoles in the dielectric. Every dipole is capable of producing its own electric field around it. Hence, a dipole inside the dielectric is not only subjected to the external field but also subjected to the electric fields exerted by neighboring dipoles. The actual electric field experienced by any dipole in a dielectric is the resultant of externally applied field and the electric field due to the surrounding dipoles. So in order to calculate the internal field, we have to consider external field as well as the electric field applied by the surrounding dipoles. The resultant electric field experienced by a dipole in a dielectric due to the applied field and the field due to all the surrounding dipoles is called internal field or local field or Lorentz field. So to explain this, let us consider a capacitor connected to a battery provided a dielectric is placed between the plates of the capacitor. Okay, so these are the two plates of the capacitor and it is connected to a battery. Here we have considered the net electric field E. We know that whenever there is no dielectric, the electric field produced by the charges residing on the capacitor. So that is E naught. Okay. Now let us consider a molecule A well inside the dielectric material. So this molecule experiences here four electric fields. One is due to the electric field created by the charges on the plates of the capacitor and the electric field created by the polarization at the two ends of the dielectric material and the electric field due to the dipoles created on the surface of the spherical cavity, that I will explain how it is. And the last one E3, the electric field created by the dipoles within this spherical cavity. Okay. So now here I have explained, if we consider a molecule well inside the dielectric, that is molecule A, the molecule experiences totally four electric fields, EI or EL. EI means internal field, EL is Lorentz field or local field, all are same. So is equal to E0, just now I explained, E plus E1 plus E2 plus E3. Okay. So to explain this, let us assume an imaginary spherical cavity around the molecule. So around this molecule we have considered a spherical cavity. Okay, this is imaginary spherical cavity. So around the molecule. Okay. Now this molecule experiences the field E naught due to the charges residing on the plates of the capacitor. It experiences the field E1 due to polarization produced within the dielectric material, that is at the both ends of the dielectric material. So these are the induced charges. Okay, due to this electric field, all they are known as due to polarization. Okay, so there will be an electric field in the opposite direction to the applied field. Okay, so that let us consider as E1 due to polarization produced within the dielectric material with the effect of electric field. Third one, it experiences the field E2. Okay, this is E2 due to the polarization caused by the dipoles produced on the surface of the sphere, imaginary sphere. Okay, last one, it experiences the field E3 produced due to the dipoles created within the sphere around the molecule. Now let us calculate E naught. We already know that electric displacement D is given by epsilon naught E naught. Here E naught is nothing but the electric field uh, caused by the charges residing on the plates of the capacitor. So epsilon naught E naught is equal to epsilon naught E. This E is the net electric field plus P. Okay, so this we have already studied. So now by considering this equation and dividing throughout by epsilon naught, we get the expression for E naught. So that will be E plus P by epsilon naught. Now to calculate E1, we know that the electric field produced due to the polarization of charges within the dielectric material is minus P by epsilon naught. That already we have studied. So as it is in the opposite direction to the applied field. So we can write E1 is equal to minus P by epsilon naught. Let us consider that as second equation. Now let us calculate E2. So to calculate E2, let us magnify this imaginary spherical cavity as shown in the figure. So here it is figure 1. Let us consider an elementary strip of area dA lying between theta and theta plus d theta on the spherical cavity, where theta is the direction with respect to the applied field and hence the polarization. Okay, so this is the direction of the electric field as well as polarization. Now the x component of the polarization is given by p cos theta along x-axis. Let us consider as x component p cos theta. So this polarization always it is given by charge per unit area. So let us consider this is a small strip. Okay, so dq is the charge residing on the strip and dA is the area. So dq by dA is the p cos theta, that is x component of the polarization, where dq is the charge residing on the elementary strip of area dA. Now if we extend this, let us draw this strip in the form of a circular shape. We know that this strip, it can have a circular shape like this of thickness r d theta. You see this thickness is this is arc of a circle. So the length of the arc is equal to d theta multiplied by r. So the thickness becomes r d theta, and the radius of this circular strip, you see this is the radius. Okay, y. So what is this y? Y is, this is r, this is theta. So r sin theta becomes y. Yes, no, hypotenuse perpendicular divided by hypotenuse. So y becomes equal to r sin theta. Okay, so now this is the radius and this is the thickness. Then what will be the circumference of this circular strip? So if you extend this circular strip in the form of a rectangle, now we get the length of the strip becomes equal to the circumference, that is 2 pi r sin theta is the radius. So 2 pi r sin theta becomes circumference multiplied by the thickness. Okay, length into breadth. Okay, 2 pi r sin theta into r d theta becomes the area. Okay, so that's what I have written here. To calculate the area d of the elementary strip, since the strip is in circular shape, the radius of the strip is y is equal to r sin theta the length of the strip is nothing but the circumference of the strip, 2 pi into radius of the strip, 2 pi r sine theta. So thickness is r d theta. So the area is length into breadth or length into thickness. So this becomes 2 pi r square sine theta d theta. Let us consider this as b and this as a. Okay, p cos theta is equal to dq by dA. So from b we can substitute this value in equation a. We get p cos theta is equal to dq by 2 pi r square sin theta d theta. So by cross multiplying we get the value of dq. Okay, so this is the value of dq. Now the x component of the electric field. So this is the charge residing on the surface of the spherical cavity. Okay, due to this charge there will be an electric field produced. So this electric field caused by the charge dq residing on the elementary strip at O. Okay, so if we keep a point charge at O, it experiences an electric field due to this charge dq, which is given by Coulomb's inverse square law. So here also we have to consider the x component. So we can write dE2 is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught dq by r square into cos theta. So this is Coulomb's inverse square law. So we substitute dq value. So we get finally, after simplification, p by 2 epsilon naught cos square theta sin theta d theta. Now let us calculate, because the surface of the spherical cavity consists of number of strips. So in order to calculate the total field, so we have to integrate. So E2 is the integration of this. So we have to integrate between 0 to pi. So by assuming to find the value of this integration, that cos theta is equal to x, dx becomes minus sin theta d theta. So when theta is equal to 0, by substituting theta is equal to 0, x becomes cos 0 as 1, theta is equal to pi, cos pi is minus 1. So by substituting these limits values, the integration becomes 0 to pi cos square theta sin theta d theta is minus 1 to minus 1, because this is minus sin theta d theta is dx. So negative sign you take outside, 1 to minus 1 becomes here. So you can interchange these limits, minus 1 to 1. So this minus disappears. So x square dx. So the integration is x cube by 3. So between the limits plus 1 minus 1. So substitute plus 1 here, that becomes 1 cube, 1 by 3. So if you substitute minus 1 here, so minus 1 cube is minus 1 again. So minus 1 by 3. So this will become 1 by 3 plus 1 by 3, that is 2 by 3. So E2 is equal to P by 2 epsilon naught. So substituting the integration value in E2 expression, so we get P by 3 epsilon naught. So E2 we got P by 3 epsilon naught. Let us name this as third equation. Now to calculate E3, we can assume the dipoles around the molecule within the sphere of imagination to be randomly arranged. Hence the net electric field E3 due to the dipoles around the molecule within the sphere. So this we can assume all these dipoles are randomly arranged. So the E3 net electric field within the around this molecule within the sphere is assumed to be 0. So E3 we can consider as 0 value. So by substituting all these values, finally we get EI is equal to E plus P by epsilon naught is the value of E naught. So E is the net electric field. So plus this is due to polarization, we are adding to calculate E naught, and E1 is the electric field due to polarization, that is in the negative direction. So this is we know that P minus P by epsilon naught, and E2 is P by 3 epsilon naught, that we have calculated here. So E3 is 0. So finally we get these two get cancelled. So EI is equal to E plus P by 3 epsilon naught, or we can represent this as EL. Now by considering this EI value, so we can derive one more equation or a relation, derivation, that is known as Clausius-Mosotty equation. So now consider an elemental solid dielectric material and dielectric constant epsilon r, okay, which exhibits only electronic polarization. Elemental solid means the solid which is an element, okay, it doesn't have ions, so it exhibits only electronic polarization. Okay, there is no ionic polarization, also it doesn't have permanent dipole moment, it doesn't contain ions and permanent dipole moment, so that we can consider ionic and orientational polarizability are 0. So alpha I is equal to alpha 0, alpha O is equal to 0. Okay, so it exhibits only alpha E, electronic polarizability. So the internal field or local or Lorentz field experienced by a dipole or a molecule well inside the dielectric is given by EI is equal to, just now we have derived E plus P by 3 epsilon naught. So by considering this, we can find an expression for Clausius-Mosotty relation by substituting the values of E and EI, okay, in terms of P. Okay, the dipole moment of a single atom or molecule is proportional to the internal field. So now by considering this internal field, we can write dipole moment, that is electronic dipole moment. Here mu O and mu I are 0, so we consider only mu E. So that is electronic dipole moment is equal to electronic polarizability multiplied by internal field, because this is only for molecule. Yes, no? So that is a microscopic quantity. So that's why we are considering internal field, that is the field experienced by the molecule. Okay, alpha E into EI. If there are n atoms per unit volume, then the total dipole moment of the sample per unit volume is also called polarization, and it is given by this we have studied already, P is equal to n mu E. So mu E you substitute n alpha E EI. So from this we can find the value of EI in terms of P. So EI is equal to P by n alpha E. So let us consider this as second equation. Also we have the polarization, that is the macroscopic quantity in terms of macroscopic value, that is a dielectric constant. So P is equal to epsilon naught epsilon r minus 1 into E. Okay, this is effective electric field. So from this E can be calculated. So that is E is equal to P by epsilon naught epsilon r minus 1. So let us name this as third equation. So substituting these two values from 2 and 3 in equation 1, okay, we get this is EI, P by n alpha E is equal to, this is E, P divided by epsilon naught epsilon r minus 1 plus P by 3 epsilon naught. So now P is on both sides, so it cancels. So 1 by n alpha E is equal to 1 by epsilon naught epsilon r minus 1, 1 by epsilon r minus 1 plus 1 by 3. Okay, you can take LCM and finally simplify. So you get 1 by 3 epsilon naught, 3 you take outside, epsilon r plus 2 plus 3 minus 1 is plus 2 and epsilon r minus 1. So by cross multiplying we can write, so epsilon r plus 2, okay, here 3 epsilon naught divided by n alpha E is equal to epsilon r plus 2 divided by epsilon r minus 1. By rearranging we can write epsilon r minus 1 divided by epsilon r plus 2. Okay, so this will become numerator and this is denominator, and now this becomes numerator on right hand side, n alpha E by 3 epsilon naught. So this is known as Clausius-Mosotty relation or equation. So this relates you see epsilon r is the dielectric constant of the dielectric material, and alpha E is the electronic polarizability. Okay, so this is macroscopic quantity and this is microscopic quantity. So this gives the relation between macroscopic and microscopic quantities of the material.